All right, Ms. Jewell. Let us have Senator Scott, who is next, and he is one of our new colleagues, and we welcome him.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ms. Jewell, good morning.
Morning.
President Obama has nominated you under the promise that you understand that there's no contradiction between being a good steward of the land and our economic progress. Yet this administration has obstructed access to billions of barrels in ANWR off our Atlantic, Pacific, and Gulf Coast, and on federal lands out west. They've driven us backward on the development of nearly 1 trillion barrels of oil shale in the Green River Formation in Colorado, Utah, and Wyoming. And the administration has obstructed the construction of the Keystone XL pipeline that will bring up to 830,000 barrels of oil per day from Canada to the Gulf Coast refineries. My question for you is, what will you do to change this troubling trend, and what kind of leadership can we expect from you on ensuring access to our vast natural resources?
Senator, thank you for the question.
Yes.
I certainly do believe in the President's all-of-the-above energy strategy. And that is, as I have expressed, all of the natural resources that we possess, and they are vast within this country. I'm supportive of their safe and responsible development. I certainly will work along with federal land managers in the areas under my jurisdiction to ensure that we are thoughtfully leaning into those resources, bringing the best available science, and developing them in a safe and responsible way.
It seems like, Ms. Jewell, that the President's all-of-the-above strategy has not included public land very much. It seems like our success has been in private land, state lands, but not on public lands federally owned. How would we change that under your leadership?
Senator, we're blessed with tremendous natural resources on both our private and our public lands. I appreciate, with the background in petroleum engineering, that technologies come to bear that enable us to draw more from the formations that we have. My early career with Mobil was around water floods and squeezing the last barrel out of production out of some of the oldest oil fields in our country. Some of the private lands, which became uneconomic, are now more economic for their development through new technologies. That's part of the reason why you see an increase in production on private lands. If confirmed as Secretary of the Department of the Interior, I'll look forward to working with my colleagues in the Bureau of Land Management and the U.S. Geological Survey to see how we can support the kind of development that is both safe and responsible on our public lands.
Okay. So I can take that as a yes, that you would explore perhaps a more aggressive approach towards using public lands when feasible?
I would say a balanced approach, Senator, understanding the science behind it, the resources available, the economics. Of course, the federal government typically leases property to private companies, and private companies are interested when it's in their economic best interest, and typically that's what drives a lot of the interest. So certainly the public market is and the prices of the resources are also very important.
I'll take that as a maybe. Move on to the next question. Resource estimates of the Atlantic OCS are hindered by a lack of data, especially the newer seismic exploration technologies that the industry has developed. Current undiscovered, technically recoverable resources estimates for the Atlantic OCS are around 3 billion barrels of oil, maybe 31 trillion cubic feet of natural gas. Do you support allowing the collection of seismic data in these areas, particularly as a South Carolina fellow, off the Atlantic OCS?
Senator, I appreciate that to effectively lease the public lands, you have to have a good idea of the resources that are there.
Yes.
And I am supportive of the work of the U.S. Geological Survey to do a more thorough assessment than has been done on the resources of the Atlantic OCS so that we understand those resources and can work alongside both states and federal OCS lands to explore their development if appropriate.
The Obama administration's 2012 through 2017 leasing plan excludes the Pacific and Atlantic OCS. How would you approach during the next leasing plan? How would you approach the next leasing plan with respect to waters off the coast of South Carolina specifically?
Senator, I'm not familiar on a state-by-state basis
Yes.
on the OCS lands, but I do understand from speaking with the people at the department that there is work planned with the U.S. Geological Survey to better understand the resources off the Atlantic coast, so that the next time a 5-year plan is considered, that they can be considered within that plan. So I'm assuming that includes the Atlantic coast with South Carolina, but I'm not familiar with the area that they're assessing.
Thank you.
Thanks, sir.
Thank my colleagues. Senator